Good morning, everybody. I tried to ignore this trend, I really did, but after over a year of seeing it everywhere, every time I opened up social media, I had people emailing me about it, asking about it. I had to see if seed snails lived up to the hype. In case you are unacquainted with seed snails, this method of seed starting has been touted as the no-fail growing hack. Popularized by Farida Sober, I apologize if I pronounced her name wrong, a home gardener in South Wales. The purported benefits of seed snails include better, longer root formation, and the roots don't become root bound. They require less space and watering than conventional seed trays, and they eliminate the need to pot seedlings up as they grow. I decided to give seed snails a try this year for my tomatoes. I also started some zinnias, basil, and tomatillos, but mainly I wanted to compare the tomatoes grown in seed snails to those grown using my conventional method of just starting seeds in a 50-cell tray and up potting them about a month later. I wanted to avoid buying anything extra to make mine. I often see bubble wrap or polythene foam used as the wrapping material. So instead, I cut up large strips of old blue jeans, some that my son ripped beyond repair, and feed sacks. This is kind of like making a Swiss roll out of soil. I just laid the wrapping material flat, put a layer of moist soil on top, and carefully roll the whole thing up. I secured mine with a couple of rubber bands, but I've seen them just taped closed as well. The idea with these is that you sow whatever you're growing pretty tightly, so I placed seeds about every inch or so. I placed all of my snails in a tray and put them underneath one of my grow lights to get them started. One thing I wasn't fully prepared for is just how heavy one tray full of seed snails is. One thing I noticed pretty early on is that I struggled to tell exactly when these needed watering. I'm used to, again, my 50-cell trays. They have a pretty large surface area for their size, and I can usually tell visually when they needed watering. These were a little trickier, so I ended up just kind of going by weight. When they felt like they were noticeably getting lighter, I just poured water in the bottom tray and let them soak up what they needed. They do hold a lot more water than a standard cell, so the watering less frequently part was definitely true. After about a month, the difference between the seed snails and my conventionally started seedlings was pretty remarkable. The color doesn't look the best here as my greenhouse got a little too cold for the seedlings' liking, but overall I was very surprised how much taller the snails grew. I used the same seed starting mix and fertilizer on everything. Also, if you notice here that the zinnias look like they've had better days, it's because one of my dogs decided to nibble on them. So here we are at the end of May. These are not quite 2 months old. I've been delayed in planting by a couple of weeks because of the rain. So these have stayed in the containers a bit longer than I would typically wait to transplant them. But I'm planting this weekend and I'm ready to enroll these. So let's check out what we've got going on. One thing I noticed was that despite feeding them as I normally do my tomatoes, these don't look all that healthy to me. The color is just not great, especially when I compare the same variety grown in both snails versus cell tray to pot. So let's unroll this one. My rubber band's actually broke. I had to re-secure this with baling twine. So one thing I noticed is these do actually hold together a lot easier than I thought they would. Kind of thought this would be a lot messier. Now there is some good root formation here. I think definitely upping the fertilizer and the compost in the actual seed starting mix to increase the nutrient density available for these plants, because they are such a dense planting, would certainly help this a lot. It would help both the appearance of the plants themselves as well as additional root formation. One thing I'm not loving here is it's really hard to keep all of these roots intact. I feel like I'm just kind of ripping off most of the roots when I go to separate this. Now with tomatoes, this won't matter as much. They really are kind of like weeds and they'll bounce back from this. I'm wondering with other plants, if this would be more of an issue. The other thing is, if I would have gotten these out of here earlier, I'm not sure that all of these entangled roots would be such an issue. Now let's compare the seed snail to my conventionally grown tomatoes. So I have some of these that are actually still left in the small cells. Typically I don't do this. I usually always up pot them. I just kind of ran out of time this year. So here's an example of one in the 50 cell tray. You can see really good root development here. In fact, this definitely should have been up potted. We're really close to getting root bound. So now let's look at some of the up potted plants. I did quite a few in this small pot this year. This is smaller than what I usually use. Again, you can see good root formation here. That plant looks really robust and sturdy. This pot is what I typically use when I up pot tomatoes. It's a root pruning pot, slightly larger size. I really like these for tomatoes. They make a really nice transplant. I actually just up potted this not too long ago, so there's not a huge amount of root development in here, but I know from past experience that these always do really well. My initial takeaway is that it just really feels like they needed up potted before this point, which is really the thing I was most hoping to avoid by using this method. But after I enrolled the first snail, I did a little more digging around on Farida's page and found that she recommended with tomatoes or any other seedlings that need more room, actually unrolling the snail and adding more soil, sometimes even thinning the seedlings out. A shortcut to adding more soil to the roll is actually plopping the whole snail down into a tray filled with compost so the roots can access more soil and nutrients. I can see where adding more soil could work well, but that feels like nearly as much work as just up potting. But I'm going to try it with one of my rolls and see what happens. I've definitely got to tweak some things for the future when I try this again. The first is adding more nutrient-dense compost to my seed starting mix. Because these are a much higher density than my trays or my pots, there is a lot more competition for the available nutrients. And I feel like just doing my standard seed starting mix and fertilizer regimen is not enough for these high-density plantings. Another thing is that while I liked the idea of recycling these old jeans, it's not the easiest material to work with. It's just too flimsy. So I think in the future, I will avoid using fabrics. I may play around with recycling some other materials, but really the cut up feed bags worked quite well. I'll also likely keep the tomato snails roughly the same size, but I think with some of these other seedlings, I could probably reduce the size of the snails a little bit and it might work better. I just don't know that, especially for the height, that this much is necessary for some of these. I'm also thinking forward about which crops will potentially work the best in this method. Already, I'm thinking that probably onions would do fantastic. In fact, I had someone email me and tell me they did onions this season and it worked really well. I think I'll try tomatoes again. Sweet potato slips might work really well in this system. Typically, I just cut the shoots off my sweet potatoes and root them again in cell pots, but I think I could probably wrap them up in this method and it should work really well. I might try out sunflowers as well. I do love that this method has the potential to save so much space. And I think with some tweaks, I can actually have much better results in the health of my seedlings. So I'm going to be working with this more going forward. And if I find any crop that works particularly well in the seed snails, I will definitely let you know. In the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried seed snails, and what were your results? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to my channel, Growfully with Jenna. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.